Trump made another high-profile appearance in Washington, D.C. yesterday at the Libertarian convention, and he was booed throughout the speech. I watched the whole speech. Our friend Craig Pasta-Jardula was there covering it. Our new friend Nathan from NSS and News, who was following us when we canvassed for Jose, he was there too. And I watched his feed as well. And so we had a couple friends of the show down there. We're going to see if we can get Pasta for Tuesday to do a full convention recap because a lot went down. He might come on. I might be flying out Tuesday, but we'll have him on sooner or later. But we're going to talk more about this on Tuesday. But here was the viral moment of Donald Trump asking to be the Libertarian Party's nominee, despite it just having broken 20 minutes before we went on air. He actually never filed the paperwork to make that a possibility. So I don't even know why he bothered going down to do it. Yeah, he never even bothered. He did a Cenk Uygur thing. That's like how Cenk would ask to be the nominee, is not file the paperwork, but go down there and ask to be the nominee anyway. So he floats
it's a
himself.
well-oiled machine.
Exactly, yeah.
He's tired of winning.
Tired of winning.
He didn't want to win another one.
No. He's had enough winning. Well, he went down there. He said, how about you make me the nominee? Here's the crowd reaction, and Trump, short fuse that he is, dished it right back to him.
The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, D-Roy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing so, policy and politics, are as solid as the Hope Diamond.
Okay, now he says, nominate someone else if you want to get your 3% like you do every 4 years. Now, Trump did not even make the voting process because he didn't file the proper paperwork. Apparently, RFK was knocked out in the first round with 2%. So the Libertarians really pulled off a pretty good flex here, I have to say. They did to Trump and RFK what Trump did to Mitt Romney. Remember when Trump was acting like he was going to give Mitt Romney a job, so he brought him out to dinner and they took pictures.
We'll go out for calzone.
Exactly. And ended up totally snubbing him. That's what the Libertarians did to RFK and Trump. They invited them to the convention knowing they'd get a ton of press out of it. And it basically worked as a commercial for their party because they got way more press, almost infinitely more press than they would have gotten if they didn't have RFK or Trump there.
People wouldn't have even known it happened.
They wouldn't have even known it happened. Exactly. But by inviting and getting Trump and RFK there, they got all these eyeballs on them. They never had any intention of nominating either one of them. Trump didn't even make the vote. RFK got 2% of the vote. And so it just turned out to be this giant commercial for the Libertarian Party to the point where whichever no name they end up going with now will be given a lot more legitimacy in the public eye thanks to the fact that they had all these eyeballs on their convention this weekend. So it was actually pretty well played. It was pretty well played and pretty stupid of Trump to show up. If you're not even going to, if you know it's going to be an L, you don't even file the paperwork. Apparently it was a big disaster. So they had the MAGA chuds were sitting in the front rows of the auditorium where the Libertarian Party delegates were supposed to sit. Those were their seats. So before Trump came on, they had a big fight trying to get the MAGA people out of the front row. They didn't want to move. So they eventually made them move. So he comes on. They heckle him throughout the speech. I watched the entire speech. It was a chaotic scene. It was a horrible reception for Trump the whole time. And he comes out of there without the nomination. He just gave the Libertarian Party, which he was ostensibly there to seek the nomination so that they wouldn't cut into his vote count in November. He just made them more powerful than they would have been had he not gone. And the ultimate Trump flex would have been when he found out that they displaced the MAGA voters. There was a nakba of MAGA people in the front row of the convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they displaced. They made them move so that the Libertarian people could come in and sit in those seats. He could have just come out and said, "You disrespected my people. I'm out." No speech. That would have been a flex. Instead, he comes there, he grovels, he gets booed, he leaves there empty-handed, and they leave there with...
His reception in the Bronx probably swelled his head.
Maybe, probably. That probably inflated his ego. He leaves empty-handed. They
Not
leave
that he
with the
needs help.
biggest convention they've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting having just watched Trump play to this absolutely fanatically adoring crowd, and then to watch this a few days later. And hey, you know, he's very New York. He had a very quick response, a funny response, a response that would play to audiences outside that hall like ourselves who are watching the video. You know, he's sharp on his feet, and that is definitely one of the things that really contrasts with Biden. I mean, you can say what you want about them being almost the same age, and while that might be true, different people age different ways. Not everybody ages the same way. For whatever reason, and I can tell you because I have personal knowledge of this. I've mentioned this before. I have a friend from high school who's actually a patron of the show, dear friend of mine. One of his first jobs was babysitting Fred Trump after he got Alzheimer's, because the guy was such a tough son of a bitch. He had broken his hip. He had Alzheimer's, but he still kept getting up to go to work every day, and they would let him. The limo would come for him, and they'd let him sit in the office as if he's doing something. They just kind of humored him. But physically, he was still able to do that. But my friend got hired because he didn't know what time it was. So they found he would go outside at 2 o'clock in the morning to wait for the limo. So my friend's only job was to make sure Fred Trump didn't stand outside at 2 a.m. wondering why his limo wasn't there. All this to say, Fred Trump was in his 90s at that point. So Trump has good genes, man. Trump has good genes. Like, actually, if you look at his family history, this motherfucker could maybe do another couple terms.
Yeah.
Like, he does not read as in any way frail or aging or suffering. No, he's very, like, his mental acuity is very sharp. He's very quick on his comebacks. I'll get into this more in my segment, but having watched him up close, yeah, I mean, it reaffirmed a lot of what I've said about him always. He signals as a guy from a bar in Queens. He really does. His sense of humor, his affect, his body language. It is a guy who you would have next to you on a bar stool in Queens. So, of course, coming to New York, you had a lot of people like that at this rally. The kind of crowd that was there was very familiar to me. But watching him there where he's dealing with a hostile crowd, it's a very New York comeback. Yeah. Okay. Well, so fine. Why don't you get your 3% then?
Yeah, take your 3%.
All right.
Yeah,
Go get your fucking shine box.
Yeah. No, he was good. He did not get flustered. You know, he just kind of kept reading. Like, he didn't lose his shit, which was good for him. But at the same time, like, could you imagine the Democrats going and trying to win the Green Party's nomination? Like, they wouldn't have even gone there. Like, they wouldn't give the Green Party that kind of a flex.
They wouldn't give them the dignity.
Right. They wouldn't show them that kind of respect. I'm not applauding them for that. I'm just saying they would never do that. But he goes there hat in hand. Same with RFK. You go there hat in hand. You end up just strengthening their nominee who's not you, not even close.
Right.
Trump got nothing. RFK got 2 points. So well played. Well played by the Libertarian Party.
This will make a lot of people take another look at the Libertarian Party.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. I mean, how many Trump voters never even heard of the Libertarian Party? Like, most voters don't even know of these third parties.
Most people don't like Donald Trump.
Right.
Most people do not like Donald Trump. He has a very fanatical base of support to whom his braggadocio appeals. That is definitely part of my analysis after having watched it in action.
Yes.
A lot of it is that Trump's vulgar behavior, a kind of behavior that at one time we would have considered extremely distasteful, particularly in someone in the ruling class. It's the snobs versus slobs thing. It's the, hey, look at my gold toilet, huh? Look at this gold toilet over here. It's a very relatable kind of elite, and it makes him not read as an elite.
Please clap.